Welcome to the Seer Show. Join us as we explore medicine, health, mental health, mindset, and fitness, guided by lifelong seeker of knowledge, Sifu Raphael. He will lead us on a transformative journey with groundbreaking insights and extraordinary guests from around the world. Together, we'll dive into the latest holistic approaches to well-being and the profound connections between mind, body, and soul. Sifu Raphael's expertise in positive thinking, resilience, and personal growth will inspire you to reach new heights. Get ready for the Seer Show. It's time to embrace a brighter, healthier, and more empowered future.
5, 4, 0.
Good morning, Nikki. Thank you so much for joining me on the Seer Show. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Raphael. Thank you so much for having me. How exciting. I love that intro.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I do all my intros, and for me, it's how do we present it, right? So presentation, a lot of times is one of the most important things. But today we're going to talk about mindset, and I named the show a little bit like mindset through different eyes, because the way you see things, the way I see things, the way our neighbors see things are totally different. But we can all have some similarities, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Same common goal, just different paths on taking
Mm,
us there.
yeah, absolutely. Nikki, at one point during our conversation, just throw your information on the private chat and I'll put it across the screen. I apologize. I should have done that. We were talking earlier. So when we think about mindset, why is that so prevalent nowadays, more so than even 10, 15 years ago?
Yeah, it's so prevalent these days because some of us are just not really thinking about our futures, what we want. Are we living in our calling? And how do we live in our calling? And how
Mhm.
do we find it? So it's definitely detrimental for us to start seeking those answers so that we are making better decisions and changing lives for growth. It's all about where your mind is going. Like, what are the thoughts you're having
Mm.
in your day to day, and is it really adding value to not only yourself but those around you?
Mhm. Oh, yeah, without a doubt. So why is building a community around mindset an important aspect, would you say?
It's so important because people are lost right now. They're really not sure really how to make things happen. And if you're in a community that have people that has done what you're looking to do, or is on the right track of the path that you're looking or lifestyle to have, it's so important to put yourself in those spaces so that now you're gaining the knowledge, you're building that it factor for yourself so that you can create that specific niche that you're looking for so that you can succeed in those areas of your life, whether it's your home life, whether it's your work life, whether it's your business life. And just building those relationships are so important, and you can't do that if you're not building community, truly authentic community, and asking people who they are, what they do, and how can you serve them
Mm.
is really important for me.
Well, you just said something very interesting, and most people don't ask that question. How can I serve you?
Yeah.
What can I do for you? Most people are in it, the radio station, what's in it for me, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen a huge shift, especially maybe it's because of the communities I'm in, right? where people are constantly saying, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? What can I do for you? Prior to where people were like, hey, I need you to do this for me. I'm like, oh, okay, no problem. I've been a giver my whole life. So I've always been serving as like, how can I help? What can I do? But I've seen it a lot more lately. And I believe in what you talked about community is when we are in a certain place where we are with like-minded people, then we get that giving where instead of having so many takers, because listen, no matter where you go, there's going to be a taker, even in the given community, right? Maybe they don't realize they're a taker until they see what's going on in the community. And the only way they'll probably stay in that community is if they become a giver. What are your thoughts on that?
I totally agree. Being in this space of networking and being in part of communities that mastermind and that are just about building and giving. I didn't know that before then. Like this has been like a year and some change that I have been in this space. Now, just like you, Raphael, I have always been a giver too. As a corporate trainer, it's always, hey, what can I do for you?
Mhm.
And when people are in that mindset of talking about, oh, I can't do this, that's just too much for me. I'm a problem solver. So let's find the solution. Let's not complain
Mm.
about what we can't do and figure out what we can do and start building on those strengths, and things can happen. So my experience in these communities have been given. It's just all a give, 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 and I'm absorbing every single bit of it. But it's
Mm.
all take, take, take too, and that's what I love about these communities, because that's how I have grown, because I've nurtured each of those relationships. And when you go in with that giving heart,
Mm.
sky's really limitless.
Yeah, it is. It is. But what I have noticed in certain communities that are built like this, of a giving community, and I've been asked to join them. And so sometimes I join and then I get bombarded with emails, text messages, and it's constant. And it's like, buy my product, buy my product, buy my product, take my service, take my service. And I'm like, I don't even know who you are. I know we belong in the same community, and that doesn't give you the right to just vomit on me, if you will, right? Because
Yeah.
that's what I see that so often. And I'm like, you know what? I don't even respond. I'll be honest with you. I just don't, because they didn't even get a chance to say, hey, how are you? Let's communicate first, right? So for me, communication is how we built that relationship.
Yeah. So they only know what they know, right? So if they've
Mm.
been trained by their coaches to say, hey, being part of network marketing, I was ignorance on fire when I got into that space. They talk about the urgency. Just get them on a call, get the information in front of them, and that's it, and figure it out. And people are like, well, I haven't spoken to you in like forever, right? So with that being said, I can honestly say I may have lost some friends along the way,
Mm.
which is pretty sad, because I would prefer you to tell me, hey, I'm just not interested, right? So what I do, and especially on some of these social platforms where you're getting these messages either from a bot, or even if it's a copy and paste theme that they have going on, literally, I don't ignore them. I actually educate them. I actually
Mm.
say, hey, we have not connected. I would love to know really what you do. And that's what really I'm looking for on this social platform. So I kind of flip that switch, and some of it works. Some of it says, hey, some people say, hey, you know what, just good luck on what you're doing. And some are actually receptive to saying, yeah, you know what, let's get to know each other before we start sharing, how can we serve each other? Because I want to know you, your heart. Are we in alignment for me to even tap into your world, or you to tap into mine, right? So it's all about starting to educate people that, you know what, that's not the way to really capture
Mm.
true authentic leads and partnerships or collaborators and things like that. So I totally get where you're coming from when it comes to that. Like, get to know me first.
Yeah, yeah.
I totally love that.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I've done similar to what you have done, but sometimes I just get so bombarded. I don't have time for
Yeah.
all these people who are like constantly like, hey, buy my, and then like if they get my email, man, I've gotten it like sometimes two, three times a day, like, this is my
Yeah.
book, buy my product, buy the, and I'm like, wow, I don't even know you. So for me, it's building that community, building that trust, right? Because, I love selling. It's one of my favorite things to do is to sell someone, but it's it's more like building a community, building a relationship. For me, that's the sale.
Hmm.
Because if I don't know you, how can I sell you? And in reality, for me, true salesman is not me selling you, is you wanting what I have. If
Absolutely.
I educate you on what I have, I don't have to sell you. If you want it, it's yours, right? So for me, that's how I've been successful. And I have several different businesses, and I've been successful in all of them because I don't sell, even though I love selling, right? It's more like, why do I need this product? What is it that it's going to do for me? Instead of somebody just saying, hey, you know what, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this. I'm like, wait a minute, do I even need it?
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of people come and they say, well, I have your solution to your problem. Wait, you don't even know what problems I have. Or even
Hmm.
if I have the problem that you're looking for, maybe you think you know my problem, but it's not that problem. It's a different problem. And maybe you know somebody. And so a lot of people don't understand that networking really to me means that, hey, you know what? If I have a product and it doesn't work for you, my good friend Nikki has a product that's specifically great for you. But if I don't know what you are dealing with, how can I even refer Nikki? And guess what? When we work together like this, if I refer somebody, you refer, then there's always that, hey, you know what? Because you referred somebody to me, I'm either going to refer somebody to you or I'm going to give you a commission. So there is all this networking business that goes on in the background, but you never get to know what that is until you make that connection first.
Yeah, absolutely. And our only job as coaches, as having a product or a service that's for a community or for a person, what that really is, our job is only to share what has worked for us.
Mm,
How we were able to succeed through our techniques, our strategies, our experiences. And our only job is to share that information and to lay down that vision for you. And then ultimately the person on the other side makes a decision like, wow, I need to be part of this person's community, or I need to work with this person in whatever capacity. So it really is more just sharing what you're doing, and people will come, those people will be out there. We have to be just a little bit more
mm,
patient, and again, not vomit on each other on what we're doing and trying to get them in. It's really, it's really building that, it's building that mindset. And when you go in with that mindset, things happen more smoothly, they're more authentic, and beautiful things come out of the
mm,
end result. And that's really what you're looking for. So when you're going in that space with that mentality of, I'm just looking for a sale and I'm looking for a transaction, you know, 9 times out of 10, it's probably going to be a no, because you're not going in with that authentic self, right? And then we also have to think about the end result. Like, after the transaction, are you nurturing your clients? Are you
mm,
nurturing those individuals? Even so, for instance, I'm a notary, so I have a notary coaching program,
mm,
and it's an 8-week session, 8 session. We can do it accelerated or not. And what I do is I always follow up with them afterwards. Hey, have you gotten your license? Hey, where are we at in the steps? Because as a coach, or as a person providing a service, you never just want it to end at the transaction. Obviously, you want repeat customers, you want repeat business, you want those referrals. So you really have to do the work afterwards and really want that person to shine, succeed, to make sure that your course is everything that everyone else would need too. So
Mm,
it's like a two-sided board, and you have to kind of work both of them.
yeah, you just taught me something. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I didn't know that you could be coached to be a notary, but now I know. See, that's what you just taught me. So anybody who needs a notary, or better yet, wants to become a notary, you need to reach out to my good friend Nikki, and she will hook you up, if you will, right?
Yes.
When we think about the services, and you talked about it, just you kind of like went really fast with it, but I want to come back to it because you hit on something that so many people miss, and it's follow up. Follow up after the sale. Because you know what? If somebody becomes a notary, that's it. They're a notary. They know what to do. You've already taught them everything. But following up only goes to say, hey, you know what? I'm there if you need any questions answered. But also, just because, and you don't even have to say, it doesn't hurt to say, hey, I would love any referrals you can send my way. But because of the follow up, it tells people, it keeps you in the forefront when somebody says, hey, you're a notary? Yeah. Well, how do I become one? Well, Nikki, I'm going to send you to Nikki, right? So the follow up, a lot of people don't realize how important that is. And talking about following up, I just had a client just come back to me. They moved away. Their career changed, and they just came back. And yesterday he says to me, you know, Sifu, I'm ready again. There's absolutely no one I would go to. He goes, and I've been approached by so many people. He said, but you were the only one in my mind. Why? Because I followed up with emails, text messages, how you doing? Happy anniversary, all these different things. And when it came for him to come back and where he was going to put his money, he had no problem saying, hey, you know what? Take my money. Actually, he said to me, I want to pay you for a year up front. I said, oh, that's very nice. I said, but I can't take your money. He's like, what do you mean? I said, let's make sure that I am the right fit again. I'm only going to do 1 month. He's like, really? You don't want? I said, well, I want to make sure that we're both happy. And he was a little taken back. And most people, in the past, I would have taken all the money. You know, my accountant would say, what the hell's wrong with you? Take the money, right? But because I have decided that the quality of my life is more important than my clients, I come first, then I can serve. If I am unhappy, I can't serve. So if I only work with clients I'm happy about, every one of my clients is going to get 1,000% of me. If I take on a client and I'm stuck with them because he paid me for a year, how am I going to serve my other clients if I'm unhappy with this one? So for me, that happiness is going to generate more happiness for my clients, and I'm going to serve them way better. So when I explained it to him, he goes, yeah, but we've worked for 3 years before. And I'm like, that's cool. I said, we've all changed.
Mm.
And I said, I hope that I am not the same coach you had before. He's like, well, that's the reason I came to you. I said, no, I'm better. Because you're
Mm.
better. I'm like, yeah. I said, because every day I improve. He goes,
Absolutely.
okay, I'm in. So, but yeah, I still didn't take his money. And he was very happy yesterday when he saw me. And for me, that's everything. If he's happy, I'm happy. And in the long run, yes, I'm sure we're going to both be happy with one another. And then if he does want to pay me after a month, he wants to pay me the full amount, that's cool. If he wants to pay me on a month basis, that's fine too. But for me, it's always my clients come first. And the only way I can serve them is if I put me first, right?
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it, or to actually go about it, because sometimes, again, we're just looking for the sale. We're looking
Mm,
for um, that, obviously, to give our best, but are we really giving our best when we're unhappy, or when we have, because every client is not going to be that smooth client. They're not going to do everything you ask them to do for their personal growth, right? So you have to be aware that that can absolutely be a factor. And I love that you said that, because with my clients, as far as the notary coaching, I improve each and every time,
mm,
right? And with a new session, with a new person that may be on a different level, or may have asked a question of something that I don't even have in my course, and I create it. So what I
mm.
do, because I I have promised to do it, and I think this is the best way to do it, is to go back all the way to that first notary student, and go back and update them with all the new information. We have to continue to keep filling them up, even though, again, I think I started it in March of 2022,
Mm.
and I've updated it so many times. So I'll go back and say, hey, look at your folder. There's some new updates. There's some new things going on. I just want you to be updated. So now I'm actually switching for all of those notaries, if they want to become coaches now that they've been in the field for some time. Do you want to get out of the field? Do you want to become a coach and teach these things based on your experiences, and have notaries become coaches now? So it's all a compound effect when it comes to what you're doing. And you have to be in that mindset to say, how can you be better? How
Mm.
can you do better?
Yeah.
And really placing yourself in those areas to get those tools, so that you can serve at 1,000%.
Oh yeah, you just reminded me, and I'm envisioning this whole thing. Imagine you go and you find gold, right? And you can fill your pockets with as much gold as you want, and you overstuff your pockets. Your pants fall down.
Mm.
Now you can't do anything. So now you have, maybe you're in your underoos, right? And you carry the gold in your hands, and as much as you can, and you go, but you can only take what you can carry. Hmm. But what if you brought a bunch of friends and every one of them can take as much? But because you gave them the secret of where it is, once they leave that area, then they're going to give you a little portion of what they took. And that's what you're talking about. Because a lot of people are very selfish when it comes to, oh, I can't share my knowledge with someone else because then they're going to do it. And then where am I going to get clients from? So there's an abundance out there that everybody's afraid of, that, hey, if I make you a coach, then you're going to take me out of business. So for me, leveling up is replacing myself. That's always my goal. My goal is, I want you not to just learn what I know, but I want you to take over the business. And they're like, you want me to do what you're doing? I'm like, yes. And every time I'm coaching, like you, when I'm coaching other coaches, and I'm like, do this, and they're like, oh, I can't do that. I'm like, do it or fail. They're like, they're tongue tied, right? And I'm like, I have your back. I'm watching what you're doing. I'm going to guide you along the way. But if I do it for you every single time, you'll always need me. I don't want you to need me. I
Mhm.
want you to be able to do it on your own. And don't get me wrong, when you do make a mistake, when you do it a different way, I'm going to ask you, why are you doing it that way? How did we make the mistake? And how can we fix it? And let's do this together. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, okay, you've got my back. So it's that. hand holding that we have to do as a coach, right? And if we're building other coaches like you're doing, it's letting them know it's okay to fail because you have someone in your corner, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I love everything you just said, and that's really like the mindset of my love language, right?
Mm,
It's so when I was in corporate America, and this is really what turned me off after 14 years in that space, was that
mm,
we're all working for one company, right? With all the same common goal, obviously our health for our members, our providers providing the services and things like that. And we have all these separate departments, but we all can intermingle together and they don't want to share their processes or what they've created.
mm.
And I think that's what differentiated me in this company was since day one, when I was just a member service rep, I was on the call, just educating our members about their benefits. I would see, and we were audited, right, on each of our calls. So I built systems that got me from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. that let my work just flow. And my management seen that and they were like, oh, well, we need you to be the onboarding trainer.
Mm.
So I said, hey, I love speaking to people. I love, um, pouring life into them because they're just like, okay, this is a paycheck. I'm just going to come in, I'm going to do my work. And once I clock out, it's done. But we're there most of our days, right? So, how can I provide these tools and things like that? So, I did that. And I actually, took that outside of the company when I decided to go on my own. So, it's really important because I don't want to be limited to what I can share.
Mm.
I want to give them everything. But when I have a management team that tells me, hey, just teach them what they need to know and keep it moving, and they shouldn't ask questions. Well, everybody learns differently. Everybody receives information very differently. And I've learned in the time of that training to see some people are, they need to have hands-on training. They need to do it. Me, myself, I learned that I went all through college online. I'm like, give me the information, I'll figure it out myself and
Mm.
I will make it happen. So that's how, I got my degree. I can't sit in a instructed session, even though I love events. That I can do. Personal development, I can sit there with a notebook all day long, but it's really how we take the information and how we share it. It's so important. It's just, I mean, there's definitely different tactics that we can use to make these processes smoother, better, and so that everyone wins in that process.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. So, when you talked about you love events, it just I just pictured you there, like writing notes like a crazy person, because that's what I do. I'm like a crazy person. Any event, every time, every Sunday when I go to church, I not only bring my Bible, but I also bring a
Nope.
ledger that I write in. And I'm probably the only one in church I've seen a few people start to bring their notebooks, but I'm always like, whatever the pastor's saying, I'm like, oh, okay, I like that. And I
Yeah.
write it down. And so for me, it's always leveling up, right? That's why I
Mhm.
told my client that I am not the same person you knew back then. And I'm not the same person I was yesterday because I've grown even today. I have to develop a system for myself. How do I grow? And so one of those is my habits. What are my habits? And who controls my habits? Right? For those people who smoke, drink, do all the wrong things in their life, who's controlling their habits, right? So for me, it's I control my habits, not my habits control me. So every time when I do something, I'm like, did I do it like that yesterday? Let me change it up. And it's always being present, being consistent with understanding what am I doing? How am I doing it? And how can I make it better? So it's that ever changing, ever evolving movement in my life. That's how I see things. And that's how I think you see things also, because you talked about how you made different iterations to your coaching program, and even you're helping people go, hey, wait a minute, remember we used to do it like this? I got a better way, right? And I love that about you.
Yeah, so I just wanted to go back. Thank you so much. I just wanted to go back to events because it's so important. And I also take notes at church as well. And sometimes when I forget my notebook, I'm like super upset. So I have to take out my phone, looking like I'm texting people, and I'm actually taking notes on what my pastors are saying. But sometimes people get locked into, why should I not attend this event? Like, I've already heard the information. They're going to talk about the same thing, mindset, financial, and this and that. And what I want to really push is that you can hear things over and over again, but are you applying it? And let me tell you, being in the network marketing space and going to these events that were repetitive, obviously they had um different speakers each and every time, different people in the room, and it was just amazing to be in that space, in that community, and hearing it over and over. Each time I had a new aha moment. So I'm always saying you need to get in the room, because you never know which event is going to be that life-changing event. And I believe that every event that I have attended has given me a new aha moment, a new way to look at my business, a new way to run my business, and a new way to serve others. So all of that is it's so important that you invest that time, invest that, never see it as a loss, as an expense. That's an investment to you. And we owe it to ourselves to, especially if we want to get in this space and we want all our dreams to come true, right? So I really had to kind of put that out there, because that's so important. I don't care how many events you go to, you're always going to come out different.
Yeah,
Always.
without a doubt, without a doubt. I got some events coming up in September. I thought they were going to be apart, but I realized now I have to fly to one place, and I thought I was going to fly and come back home, but now I'm going to fly to that place, and from there fly to my next event, and then fly to another event, and I'm like, oh, I don't get to come home for a little bit, and because I'm so excited about these events, but I'm going to be, speaking at these events, and what excites me most is when I can impact knowledge to someone, when I can help someone, and maybe they get that aha moment. Maybe they heard something about what I'm going to talk about, but I brought a different flavor to it. And then all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute, I heard this before. Like you said, I heard it before, but today it clicked. Why? Why did it click? Maybe it's the way I told it. Maybe it's the story I infuse into my speech. And a lot of people don't realize the importance of being present, being somewhere, going out of your comfort zone. A lot of people say, I can't afford to go there. You can't afford not to go there. That's the reality. If you're not, it depends on what your business is, right? If you are not doing something that is going to level you up. I have a client of mine. He was working at a job for 16 years. And we've been talking, and they didn't value him at all. And if anything, during COVID, they made him work crazy hours. They didn't care that he had two kids at home that were that had autoimmune issues. His wife is working this, that, the other. They didn't care. And they didn't care what he had to do. They just wanted him to do what they wanted. They didn't value him at all. And when he was passed up by a promotion, when they didn't give him any more money, they didn't, he was stagnant. And so I said, it's time for you to really move on. Put your resume out there. Well, I don't know. Just put it out there. You never know. You never know. You never know. Just do it. Do it. A company hired him, changed his life trajectory. Not only is he making a lot more money, but now they're making him the number one guy in his field where everybody else didn't think of it. But because his expertise was truly there, he honed his skills. And he even said, when at my last job, I basically just went there to get paid. I only did enough to get my paycheck. I didn't do any more because they didn't value me. At this new job, he can work from home. He can be with his kids anytime. If he goes, hey, I'm going to work from home today, they're like, cool. And he's doing more work than he's ever done, but he is happier. And they're sending him to conferences. They're sending him to different things. And I said, how was your last conference? He goes, oh my God, I learned so much. I'm like, oh, good for you. He goes, but something else happened. I said, what happened? I got 2 job offers. I said, oh, really good. I said, what are they? So he told me. I said, you're established in this company. It was this company that put you there. I said, I think one of those job offers you should take. He's like, oh, but I can't. I said, you're not understanding how I want you to take it. I want you to be a consultant for them. You stay home and they fly you every so often to go there, maybe on the weekends, and you consult for them. He goes, yeah, it's $1 billion. I'm like, I don't care. If it's $1 billion, they can afford to fly you there, pay for your hotel, your room, and your fee. Well, what's my fee? I said, we're going to work that out. He's like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Now, not only did I leave a job that was not valuing me, but here I'm at a job that they value me. They send me places and bigger opportunities are presenting themselves. I said, well, but you didn't see it as an opportunity. This is why I'm your coach.
I love
Right.
that. That's so true. That's so true. And that's exactly, I feel like you're telling my story a bit. Because when I was working for this company, I was doing leadership roles, but I didn't get the title either. And being given, 3 years to say, hey, you know what? We're going to make it work. We're going to make it work. And it not happening. I had to then now think like, am I being valued? Am I working to my fullest potential? Or is this just a job that I'm checking in? I love what I did, loved who I worked with, loved everything about my job. I really thought that they were going to have to drag me out of there because I thought I would be there forever. But it came a point where I said, you know what, let me check out this notary thing. I took a week off, made my first 1,600 in, I think, an 18-hour work week, had more time with my family. And I'm like, wait, something's just off here, right? So I go back, I sit at this very desk, look at this computer, and I said, you know what, I have some projects open. I'm going to stay to the end of the year. But when God told me, if not now, when? I said, oh, wait, I have to really take ownership of my life and really what I want to do and be happy doing it. I turned in my resignation letter and never looked back. It's been almost 3 years. This October will be 3 years. And it has been the absolute best decision. A lot of people don't have that courage to really believe that things can happen. Now, I had no plan B. All I asked after that in 2022, all I asked God was, I just need community that I can serve and can serve me back. And when I tell you, Raphael, God poured it on me. He said, here you go. You asked for it. This is what you got. Nurture it, steward it. And that's what I've been doing for the past year and a half. And it has been unbelievably phenomenal. And when you believe in yourself that much, and when you get those downloads from the universe, divine, whatever you believe in, you need to start listening and taking action, whatever that looks like. And sometimes you can't do it by yourself. No. You have to have that coach. You have to have that person in your ear cheering you on. And they're not going to do the work for you either. They're going to provide the tools, and you have to just be ready to just absorb it all and be able to put yourself in that position of possibility, position of hope, position that it's gonna get better because you want it to get better.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. Do me a favor, if definitely put your contact information or your website or whatever on the private chat. So I want to put it across the screen. I want people to come, and anybody who wants to be a notary to come and reach out to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually don't have the option here.
Go to private chat on the right-hand side.
Oh, got it.
There it is.
Oh no, it's giving me the option to remove my screen. This setup is different. I don't have it, but it's just
Yeah.
yeah, it's building
Say
a
it.
leadership.
I'll type it.
Yes, they can connect with me or see everything that I'm doing at www.buildingaleadershipmindset.com.
Building a leadership, all one word, right? Kind
Yeah.
of. Leadership.com. I'm going to put it on. You tell me if it's correct.
Yes.
Yeah, hopefully I spelled it right. Let's see. There it is, coming across. Buildingaleadership.com.
It's buildingaleadershipmindset.com.
Ah, see? We're going to
It's
fix
all
that.
good. I love live. I love the organic feel of this. It's awesome. That's how I do my shows as well.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about your shows in the community. And I know we're running out of time. We have 5 minutes left, so we got a lot to cover. So is that correct now?
Yep.
Perfect. All right, people, do me a favor. Check it out. Go to buildingaleadershipmindset.com. And if you want to learn more, reach out to Nikki. Okay?
Absolutely.
So there it is. Buildingaleadershipmindset.com. For community, you belong to a couple of different communities, but you decided to build your own. Tell us what prompted you to do that, and how's it going?
Yeah. So initially, when I was writing my book, Building a Leadership Mindset, I did a research and found a article from the Fortune 500 talking about how women only have 8.8 percent of women sit in a CEO position, which is 41 out of 500, which was crazy to me because I know some phenomenal women doing phenomenal things. And I asked myself, like, how can I change the trajectory of this? How can I see more women on stages dominating the event, whether it's hosting it, whether it's building it out, whether it's, how can we start demanding our presence? So
Right.
I built out Ladies of Leadership, Demanding Our Presence. That started November of 2022. We are a very tight sisterhood. But then I decided men were starting to ask, like, Nikki, how can I join your community? How can I speak at your events and things like that? So again, you go in this cycle of, how can we include everyone? So I actually rebranded this year to BALM Global, and my mission is to build leaders globally, because I always say you can't be a great leader unless you're building other leaders. So that's my motto. I'm sticking to it and I'm running with it.
That's
And
awesome.
so I did my first event May 20th, which was the Empower to Inspire, which was my full 1 year circle story from joining all these communities. And now God has downloaded to me that you need to take this on tour and take it all over the world. So right now we have Empower to Inspire community, and that is just one membership. I didn't want to have two memberships, two payment plans, or anything like that, so I actually merged them together. So Empower to Inspire, it is co-ed, so everyone can join the community and join how they can be part of this tour, because what our goal is really to highlight other businesses, other individuals, because again, you said it earlier, how is it when we talked about the goals, if we bring everyone in the community to get some gold and we all come out winning, that's really the goal. It's not just about Nikki. It's not about BALM Global. It's about how BALM Global can highlight you, showcase you, and use my platforms, whether it's my podcast, whether it's the tour, whether it's my online events, my virtual events. I want everyone to shine, because we can all shine together, and there is enough for everyone. But the bonus of that is that we still keep the essence of Ladies of Leadership. So if women join the Empower to Inspire, they automatically get Ladies of Leadership. So that's two communities that I'm really nurturing right now. And we have so much going on. And all I want to do is just share it with the world and really make it the movement that it needs to be. I think the difference with our community is that we really want to highlight you, and we have the tools to do it. And I just love seeing people win, highlighting, with my podcast, which we have to get you on.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Yes, so we can make that happen and really like showcase. And you said another thing that when we are, that referral essence of community based businesses, right? What I know that I can help everyone, but do I have the time to help everyone? And am I an expertise in a particular field where I know Raphael is? I'm that first one that's going to say, you know what? I think you need to connect with X, Y, and Z with Raphael. He's going to take total care of you because I know what you offer, right? And I know that you guys have that connection, and I use my podcast and my interviews and each of my masterminds to know who can we connect together. So yeah, that's what we have going on, and you can
That's
find all
awesome.
of that at the website.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. So yeah, anytime that, you want me on your show, I don't know if we booked it or whatnot, but it'd be a pleasure. And also, if you ever need me on your stage, if I'm available, I'll be there. It'll
I
be,
already have you on the list, so we'll
ooh,
definitely chat.
okay, cool. Looking forward to it. I want to thank you for today. We definitely touched a lot about different mindset and how we can, you have your view, I have my view. And like I said, everybody has their own view, but how we can come together and create a community or become a community of like-minded people who we give before we take. Don't get me wrong. As a giver, you still have to take, right?
Yeah.
Because if I give, I still need to feed my family. So I do need to be able to take, right?
Yeah.
So it's when do you take, right?
Mm,
So that's a whole different conversation that we can have on that. But to me, it's always be a giver first, and we talked about God, and He will provide when we constantly give, and there's going to be takers, and that's all they know how to do. All they know how to do is take, 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 and to me, more power to them, right? If they want to take from me, take, because guess what? I have abundance to give. Right?
absolutely. I love that.
Yeah. Well, Nikki, thank you so much for today. It was a great, great time spending with you, and I look forward to continually getting to know you more. Every time we talk, I love it. So thank you.
Yes, I can talk to you for hours. Thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure. It was awesome being here to share mindset because, again, that's our love language, and we need to kind of
Mm,
nurture that part of our existence so that we can be as phenomenal as we were meant to be.
that's right. That's right. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you catch it on the replay, hit hashtag replay. Let us know what you thought. Follow my good friend Nikki, and make sure to come back next week and have yourself an exceptional day. Take care, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
You got it.